Good afternoon, Amma. Is it my voice is clear?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Now, welcome to our new topic that is on potassium. As we know that among the three major nutrients, potassium is also one of the major plant nutrient. This potassium content in the earth crust will ranges around 1.9% with a range of 0.5 to 2.5%. And there is a peculiar concept with respect to the production of potassium fertilizers in India. Here, all the potassium fertilizers are imported to India from foreign countries. There is no potassium reserves in India. So we are getting potassium fertilizers only through import from foreign sources. The consumption of potassic fertilizers in India is around 1.33 metric tons. There is a big gap between the removal of potassium by crops and the application of potassium to the crops is widening. Then, what are the different sources of potassium? In order to get potassic fertilizers, generally potassium bearing minerals should have to weather in order to give potassium. So, in soils, mostly by weathering of rocks which are containing potassium bearing minerals are the sources for potassium. Some of the potassium bearing minerals are potassium feldspars, such as orthoclase and microline, muscovite, biotite are some of the potassium bearing minerals. And this potassium is also found in some of the secondary clay minerals such as illite, vermiculite, and chlorite in small amounts. Now we should know what are the different forms of potassium which are existing in soils and which are available to the crops. Generally, the different forms of potassium are four. One is water soluble potassium, exchangeable potassium, fixed potassium, and lattice potassium. By summation of all these, we will get total potassium. What is meant by water soluble potassium? The potassium which is present as a soluble cation in soil solution. This water soluble potassium is the only available form to the uptake of crops, and this will be an equilibrium with exchangeable potassium. What is meant by exchangeable potassium? The fraction of potassium which is present on surface of clay and with the use of neutral salts such as neutral normal ammonium acetate. Due to these neutral salts, the potassium which is absorbed on the clay complex will be replaced. That form of potassium is called as exchangeable potassium. In general, it is less than 1% of total K. Then what is meant by fixed potassium? The part of potassium which is tightly bound to the clay colloids and it is not easily replaceable with exchangeable salts or neutral salts such as neutral normal ammonium acetate, and that type of potassium is called as fixed potassium. It is tightly present in between the basal planes of mica minerals such as muscovite. What is meant by lattice form of potassium? It is the account a major part of total K, and it is present in minerals such as muscovite, biotite, and orthoclase, and it accounts the highest percentage of total K. So, what total potassium? In order to estimate total potassium, we should have to estimate water soluble, readily exchangeable, fixed K as well as lattice K. The combination of all these forms will give the information regarding total potassium. And there is a significant relationship between these two forms which is called as dynamic equilibrium of potassium. The significance relationship is called as dynamic equilibrium dynamic equilibrium. What is meant by dynamic equilibrium? Whenever there is a less concentration in soil solution K, the fraction of potassium which is present in exchangeable K can donate or contribute to soil solution K. If exchangeable K is replenished, then from non-exchangeable K, potassium is entered into this exchangeable K pool. If soil solution K is more abundant, then the fraction of soil solution will move to exchangeable K side. So there is a dynamic relationship between soil solution K, exchangeable K, and non-exchangeable K and fixed K. Relatively, the soil solution percentage which is present in the soil is very low percentage. Then lattice K and non-exchangeable K are not available to the plants. Only soil solution form will be available to the plants for its uptake. Then non-available or fixed form is also called as unavailable forms of potassium. So what is meant by this potassium fixation? Fixation means it will be fixed in the crystal lattice or it will be fixed in the soils which are not available to the plants. So potassium fixation means potassium will be fixed in the soils and it will be not available to the plants. So this means available form of potassium conversion to unavailable form, or non-exchangeable form, or fixed form. This potassium fixation is highest in case of 2:1 clays, because which the two high amount of illite, which will be having high amounts of illite containing 2:1 type of clays will have more potassium fixation. This K fixation is almost absent in case of kyolanite, chloride, and unweathered micas. And highest K fixation will be seen in vermiculite, substantial in case of illite, and slight in case of mortamelite. This ammonium fixation and K fixation are highest in case of vermiculite. This is very important concept with respect to your examination point of view. Vermiculite have a capacity to fix both potassium as well as ammonium at higher rate, and the least amount of potassium fixation is with kyolanite, because kyolanite will is a, exhibits AEC, anion exchange capacity, whereas vermiculite will have highest CEC, cation exchange capacity. In order to explain K fixation in detail, this 2:1 type of clay minerals will have different adsorption sites. What are the three different adsorption sites? The surface of clay mineral has a P position on the surface and E position at the edges and I position at interlattice position between two crystals. So one is planar position, which is present on the surface. Second position is I position, which is almost on the edges. And third position is interlattice position, that is it present in between spaces of two interlayers. The binding of potassium for kyolanite is at P position, that means on the surface. So there is easily replaceable with other cations. This is one of the reasons why kyolanite will have low K fixation. One reason is it is having low CEC and high AEC. Second one is in kyolanite, potassium will fix on planar position, which will be easily replaced with other anions. But in case of smectitic group, that is illite and mortamelite, vermiculite, K fixation is mostly confined to interlattice position. So if potassium is present in interlattice position, if any dehydration will occur, these two sheets will come close together and the cation will be tightly bound in between two layers, which won't be available to the plants and this potassium ion will be fixed at these interlayer spaces. This is a model of expandable layer silicates. Here, are you capable of seeing P position which is present on the surface? I
Yes,
position
sir.
is present in between two layers, and E position, edge position. This is how the fixation will happen. In kyanolite, K will adsorb on P position, so it will be easily replaced with other ions such as calcium or anything. But in case of vermiculite, mortamelite and other, it will be fixed at these interlayer positions. So due to dehydration means loss of water molecules. What will happen if water molecules will lose? The layers will come contact closely with each other. As a result, it will be tightly bound with this. This potassium fixation was best explained by lattice hole theory. Lattice hole theory. This was explained by Page and Bauer. According to this theory, the exposed surface between sheets of the minerals will consist of oxygen ions which are arranged in hexagonal rings, and this hexagonal opening is equal to the diameter of oxygen ion. The diameter of oxygen ion is around 2.8 angstroms. So the ions which are having a diameter in this magnitude will get tightly bounded or will fit snugly into that lattice hole such that these ions will held tightly. We know that the diameter of ammonium ion is 2.86 angstroms, which is close to that of diameter of hexagon of oxygen ion. So there is a probability of ammonium fixation is also happens because of their similar radius. As we have discussed in our earlier concept on ammonium fixation, the same concept I have explained there. The reason is the ions which are having a similar diameter will have similar capacity to fit into the hexagon of oxygen ion. Here, with respect to your examination point of view, you should have to concentrate on three concepts. One is, what is potassium fixation? Potassium fixation means conversion of available form of potassium to unavailable form, or available form of potassium to fixed form of potassium, and as a result it won't be available to the easy uptake for the crops. Second one is, in order to explain better K fixation, the concept of different adsorption sites can be understood. What are the different absorption sites in silicate clays. One is I position, that is interlattice position or interlayer spaces. P position planar position. E position edge position. And one more important concept is K fixation is almost absent in kyolanite, chloride, and unweathered micas. And in which clay mineral, secondary clay mineral, highest potassium fixation is seen?
Vermiculite.
Vermiculite. Now, who explained this lattice hole theory? Page and Baber. Which theory explained potassium fixation? Lattice hole theory. What is the diameter of hexagon of oxygen ion? 2.8. And what is the diameter of potassium? 2.66 angstrom. What is the diameter of ammonium ion? 2.86 angstrom. These are the different objective type of questions which may frequently appear in your examination, both in for semester purpose as well as for competitive exams. Then, what are the different factors that may affect K fixation? We know that for K fixation, clay minerals are the sources or the site where potassium can be fixed. So, the nature of clay minerals is very important. K fixation is almost absent in 1:1 type and highest in case of vermiculite, illite, and substantial in case of mortamelite. K fixation can be decreased if more amounts of aluminum ions are present. If more aluminum ions are present, then it will indicate acidic nature of that soil. In acid soils, K fixation will be less. Fine textured soils, that is which are having more amount of clay, will have high CEC, and as a result it can hold more exchangeable K. What will happen if it hold more exchangeable K? The solution K will be reduced. Then increasing the concentration of K in the soils through external means than required will also help to fix that potassium into the soils tightly, and it won't be made easily available to the plant. Wetting and drying will also result in fixation. Freezing and thawing will also help in fixation. If more root depth will be there, it will also facilitate more K fixation. High temperature will also favors more fixation. Because of high temperature, dehydration will occur. Dehydration of water molecules will occur. As a result, there will be a contraction of crystal lattice between the minerals. As a result, it will facilitate more K fixation. If more amount of calcium and magnesium are present, it will also affect K fixation. Then, regarding this availability of potassium, either in complete soil or the availability of potassium in soil solution, is best explained by Bucket with the concept of quantity and intensity parameters which is very useful in measuring the potassium supplying power of the soils. Here, what quantity will implies and what intensity will implies is very important. Quantity means total amount of potassium which is present in the soil, whereas intensity means the potassium which is present in soil solution pool, and the potassium which is readily available or immediately available for absorption of the plant will called as intensity. అర్థమైంది కదమ్మా. క్వాంటిటీ అంటే సాయిల్లో ఉన్న టోటల్ క్వాంటిటీ ఆఫ్ పొటాషియం ఎంత అనేది చెప్తుంది. టోటల్ quantity of potassium means in total potassium exchangeable will be there, non-exchangeable will be there, lattice K will be there, fixed potassium will be there, everything will be explained by quantity. But whereas intensity parameter will give the information regarding only the available form, that too which is present in soil solution pool, will give the information regarding intensity factor. As we have discussed that the presence of other cations such as calcium and magnesium will also help in these K fixation. చెప్పాం కదా, కాల్షియం మెగ్నీషియం కానీ ప్రజెంట్ అయి ఉంటే అది కూడా పొటాషియం అవైలబిలిటీని అఫెక్ట్ చేస్తుంది. సో అకార్డింగ్ టు ది బెకెట్, he included calcium and magnesium also in judging the potassium supplying power of the soils. For this, he developed one factor called as ARK, activity ratio of the potassium. How this activity ratio of potassium will be calculated? This activity ratio of potassium will be calculated by taking the concentration of both potassium as well as calcium and magnesium by using this formula as ARK is equal to concentration of potassium by root of calcium plus magnesium. So the presence of calcium and magnesium will influences the activity ratio of potassium. Then the ratio of this quantity by intensity is called as potential buffering capacity. If more wider the ratio of this PBCK means more buffering capacity. The soils which is having smectatic clay have more potential buffering capacity than the soils having the Kyolona type of clay. This is the typical QI graph, that is quantity intensity graph. Here on x-axis ARK values will be taken, on y-axis exchangeable K will be taken. This is then a graph will be plotted between the ARK values and the delta K or exchangeable K values. The line which intersect at x-axis, that is ARK value, it is called as AREK value, equilibrium activity ratio, and the one which intersect at y-axis is called as KL, that is labile potassium. So this PBCK or potential buffering capacity of potassium, we can call it as labile potassium by AREK, activity ratio of equilibrium activity ratio. We can write it as like this also. This is very important with respect to your examination point of view. This graph, this is a typical QI isotherm. Here x-axis will be there and y-axis will be there. On y-axis, what will be there? The concentration of potassium, exchangeable potassium will be there. On x-axis, ARK values will be there. Then a graph is plotted between ARK values and delta K values. The graph or the line which touches the x-axis, and this intersecting point is called as AREK, equilibrium activity ratio of potassium. The one which intersect or touch the y-axis is called as labile potassium. Then there is one typical phenomena for potassium that is called as luxury consumption. Luxury consumption, the term itself having consumption of more than required. అంతే కదమ్మా లగ్జరీ రిసోర్సెస్ అంటే లగ్జరీ అంటే ఏంది మనకు కావాల్సిన దానికన్నా ఎక్కువగా ఉండడం. సో దిస్ పొటాషియం ఈజ్ హ్యావింగ్ ఏ phenomena called as luxury consumption. That means whatever you will give, it will take. But due to their excess than supplying, there won't be any increment in yields. Is it useful? Nothing, no useful. And what this actually means how much amount or large quantities of potassium fertilizers if you add to the soil than required, the crop will take that potassium, but there won't be any increment in yields. This tendency is called as luxury consumption. Due to this, there is a wastage of fertilizer cost. As no improvement in yields, dumping of more fertilizer will affect the BC ratio of the farmer. So this condition or this tendency is a wasteful process. Generally, it will seen in case of some of the forage crops. ఇప్పటి వరకు మీరు రెండు టిపికల్ ప్రాపర్టీస్ ఆఫ్ పొటాషియం గురించి తెలుసుకున్నారు. వన్ ఈజ్ డైనమిక్ ఈక్విలిబ్రియం ఆఫ్ పొటాషియం. దిస్ విల్ హ్యాపెన్ ఇన్ బిట్వీన్ ద ఫార్మ్స్, డిఫరెంట్ ఫార్మ్స్ ఆఫ్ పొటాషియం. ఒక ఫామ్లో తగ్గిందంటే ఇంకొక ఫామ్ నుంచి పొటాషియం వస్తుంది. ఒక ఫామ్లో ఎక్కువగా ఉంటే అంటే సొల్యూషన్ ఫామ్, ఇట్ విల్ ఏదైనా అల్టిమేట్గా ప్లాంట్ అనేది తీసుకునేది ఫ్రమ్ సొల్యూషన్ ఫామ్లో ఉన్న డిజాల్వ్ అయిన న్యూట్రియంట్ అవైలబుల్ ఫామ్నే ప్లాంట్ అప్టేక్కి అబ్జార్ప్షన్ తీసుకోవడానికి స్కోప్ ఉంటుంది. సో సొల్యూషన్ ఫామ్లో ఎప్పుడైతే పొటాషియం తగ్గుతాదో, ఫ్రమ్ ఎక్స్చేంజబుల్ ఫామ్ నుంచి పొటాషియం సొల్యూషన్ ఫామ్లోకి వస్తుంది. ఎక్స్చేంజబుల్లో కూడా తక్కువగా ఉంటే నాన్ ఎక్స్చేంజబుల్ నుంచి ఎక్స్చేంజబుల్కి వచ్చి ఎక్స్చేంజబుల్ నుంచి పొటాషియంకి వస్తుంది. ఇఫ్ సాయిల్ సొల్యూషన్లోనే పొటాషియం అనేది చాలా ఎక్కువగా ఉంటే బికాస్ ఆఫ్ డ్యూ టు ద ఎక్స్టర్నల్ అడిషన్ ఇట్ విల్ బి moved to exchangeable and then to non-exchangeable, and finally it will be fixed and won't be available to the plants. This is one of the typical properties. Second one is luxury consumption. Then one more among the three major nutrients, one more distinguishing characteristic is in India there is no production of potassium fertilizers. We are getting all potassium fertilizers through imports only. Then there is another concept which is peculiar to this nutrient is hidden hunger. పేర్లోనే ఉంది చూడమ్మా, హిడెన్ హంగర్. హంగ్రీ మీన్స్ ఆకలి. హలో అమ్మా, ఐడి నెంబర్ 72 మ్యూట్లో పెట్టుకోమ్మా. That is hidden hunger. Hidden hunger means without showing any deficient symptoms or any definite symptoms, crop yields were drastically reduced. This concept is called as hidden hunger. Luxury consumption is one, hidden hunger is one, dynamic equilibrium is one, and all potassic fertilizers are imported from other countries. These are some of the peculiar concepts of potassium. Then regarding to functions, this K is available to the plant from soil solution in the form of monovalent cation in the form of K plus, and it is an unique element. It can accumulate more amounts in the plants without exhibiting any toxic symptoms, and it plays a very important role in maintaining of osmosis in the plants. That is, it plays a very important role in opening and closing of stomata and transportation of water and nutrients throughout the plant via xylem. It is not at all a component of any organic compound in the plants. Means it won't be present in a component of a plant. That means it won't be integral component of DNA or RNA or nucleic acids, etc. Then where this potassium will be present? It will be present in between intercellular spaces. It is not integral component, but it will be present in between intercellular spaces of the wall. It is a most important nutrient in order to activate more than 80 enzymes. It will increases the shelf life of fruits and vegetables and improves the crop quality and improves the winter hardiness and imparts disease resistance also. Mainly, potassium has influences mostly the transport of water and nutrients by అమ్మా వినపడుతుందమ్మా?
Yes, sir.
By regulating the opening and closing of stomata. Then what are the deficiency symptoms of Potassium. As we know that potassium is a highly mobile in plants, the deficiency symptoms are confined to older youth. They have a clear identification of visible symptoms. Fluorosis means loss of chlorophyll will be seen all along the margins of the leaf initially, and in later these margins will look like a burning appearance. Due to the deficiency of potassium, the crop yields will be reduced drastically because of stunted growth of the plant and crop lodging, etc. And the crops which are deficient in potassium will prone for high intensity for attracting plant diseases. As we know that it is a major element for activating a nearly 80 enzymes, all those activities will be reduced if the deficiency of potassium is there. In case of fruits and vegetables, quality will be reduced. Then these deficiency symptoms should have to be rectified by external application of fertilizer. The common fertilizer sources of potassium are three. One is MOP, muriate of potash. SOP, sulfate of potash. Muriate of potash is also called as potassium chloride, KCl, which accounts 60% of K2O. And SOP, sulfate of potash, is also called as K2SO4, potassium sulfate. It will account 50% K2O. And third important fertilizer is potassium nitrate, KNO3. It will account 44% of K2O. As muriate of potash have chloride, as it is having chloride, some of the crops are very sensitive to chloride, such as tobacco, tomatoes, grapes, onions, strawberries. There, due to the presence of this chloride, the leaves will be damaged due to the scorching nature of this chloride. So in those crops, we will recommend SOP. So for tobacco, we should not use MOP, that is KCl. For tobacco, we should not use KCl. It will deteriorate the quality of the leaf. But for chloride loving crops such as coconut and oil palm, we should have to give more amount of MOP. Generally, potassic fertilizers will be applied as basal application, but in case of Andhra Pradesh, split application is recommended for light textured soil. This KNO3 is generally used for fruit trees and horticultural crops. For fruit trees and horticultural crops, KNO3 will be used because this KNO3 will have two major nutrients and it will help in to impart cold hardiness in case of Rabi season in Andhra Pradesh. Here, one important question is there with respect to your examination point of view. For tobacco and potatoes, what is the potassic fertilizer we should have to apply?
SOP.
SOP, sir.
Sulfate of potash. For horticultural crops and fruit trees, what is
KNO3, sir.
potassium?
Potassium nitrate.
Okay, then what is the percentage of K2O in case of SOP, MOP, and potassium nitrate is also important with respect to your examination point of view. Then for coconut and oil palm, what is the source of potassium fertilizer?
MOP.
MOP.
sir.
Because this coconut and oil palm are chloride loving species. This figure shows the clear deficiencies in terms of potassium. The leaf margins are scorched or burning appearance. ఉందా లేదమ్మా? V shape లాగా కనపడతాయి అన్నమాట. All along the margins లో scorching, starting లో chlorosis లాగా ఉంటుంది, later గా it will be looks like a burning appearance. So this figure clearly shows the deficiencies in terms of potassium in case of cashew. All along the margins, scorchy appearance will be seen. This is the typical characteristic of potassium. Loss of green color, chlorosis, in advanced burning of edges of leaves. This is regarding your concept. Have you got any doubts regarding this concept? Regarding examination point of view,